Well, hello, everybody. This is Henry Schneider with the Business Performance Podcast. And today it's my distinct pleasure to talk with Joe Camberato of the National Business Capital and Services. He has been doing this for quite a few years. He also has a podcast, Grow by Joe, with lots of interesting videos for you to watch to talk about his passion for helping businesses grow. So, hi, Joe. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Henry. Good to see you.
Okay, so to begin with, so you can set the stage here for all our listeners, would you please briefly describe your company, the type of people you work with, your customers, and the services you provide?
Absolutely. So, it started as a very humble beginnings back in 2007. It's grown to, 100 employees or so now, a really, great team of people, an amazing culture. And we've helped secure $1 billion in financing for small business owners all across the country in all different types of industries. So my company, National Business Capital and Services, was literally started from nothing with just a focus on, initially it was all about providing business financing to business owners and basically connecting them to the right lender in a very simplified and easy process. So fast forward to where we are today. We've been able to secure $1 billion, as I mentioned. We built a platform that now has 75 different lenders on the platform. We've focused on amazing technology, but also great and amazing and knowledgeable people. And we've merged great technology with great people. I think that's what separates us from everybody else. You go online now and Google business loan, small business loan, business line of credit, or whatever, and a million things will come up. And the reality is that a lot of lenders aren't set up to really have in-depth conversations about you, your business, and what you're looking to accomplish. And then a lot of people don't have access to all the lenders and products that we do. Maybe they only offer one program or product. And there's a lot of great lenders out there, but every lender is not for every business owner in every industry. And what's really interesting as a business owner, if you need financing, depending on your industry, where you're located, your time in business, your personal credit score, your business credit score, your cash flow, what you're looking to use the money for, all those things make a difference. Mm-hmm. And every lender has, different things that they like. They focus on guidelines. So even a business owner in the same industry, your profile is different from, the guy down the block that does the same thing that you do. So, you can get really fatigued from shopping around from lender to lender and get frustrated and wind up doing nothing. Or wind up taking a deal that isn't really the best for you and your business. So what we've done is we've, made it really easy, built out this platform. You apply, on a platform right online. We have a digital, simple application. We can connect your finance, bank info very quickly. And then you can speak with someone here that can actually go through what you're looking to get accomplished, get an understanding of you and your business. And from there, with our technology and with a human approach, we match you to the right lending product. And sometimes we'll come back to you with one or even multiple offers from maybe even more than one lender. And then you as a business owner can go through and make a business decision and pick the best one for you and your business. And then past the financing today, we're all about bringing value back to our small business owners. Again, like I started this company out of my bedroom from absolutely nothing. My business partner, James, CEO, shares the same story. And as we were helping people obtain financing, building their businesses, we had the privilege of speaking to all these business owners across the country as we were building our business. And the reality is everyone deals with a lot of the same, challenges and struggles. Every business owner does, if you're in completely opposite type of industry, everyone deals with, people challenges, processes, structure, marketing, cash flow. They're all the same challenges. So we've recognized that. So we're always National Business Capital. We added the N services about 2 years ago. Kevin Harrington, who's an original shark on Shark Tank, is actually the spokesperson for the services division. And we've added services like credit card processing and bookkeeping and marketing solutions and many others, payroll, just to name a few. And basically, in one place you can get financing and then all the services that you need to really, run and grow your business and streamline operations. And we're really focusing on educating the people that work here, not just on products. People here are great with understanding lender and guideline products, and then the products is, all the other products that we offer. But we put such a big focus on understanding and respecting someone's business, and the business owner. And that's a real big challenge. And I think that's where there's a huge gap in that a lot of companies, a lot of business-focused companies, whether it's financing or whether they offer business services and products, a lot of people that you speak to don't get business because they're not business owners. So we really, try and position our folks here to think and act like business owners so they can understand their business and the challenge and provide a solution, whether it's financing or one of our business services, to help get their business to that next level.
Okay, great. So I'm thinking here, you mentioned about Shark Tank, and I've been trying to figure out, how to ask this question probably because you're doing lending, but you also have the whole other dynamic of the venture capitalists. So how do you fit together with them, or do you get involved with that at all, or are you just focusing on just lending and helping companies?
So our core focus is on, is connecting people, to lenders and on that side. So, but, we do have some relationships on the private equity and venture capital side for the right folks. I think the reality is, a lot of people can grow their business by not, selling equity, by taking, on debt, or an advance or a business loan or a credit line. I also think too that every business is not every business is meant for private equity, and that game is a completely different game. If you created like an app and you're solving this major, challenge and providing this major solution, and you're going to need a ton of money to do that, then it might make sense to go out for private equity or venture capital. But for the typical small business owner in the U.S., to give up 10, 20, 30, 50% of your company, where you can just take out a business loan or a credit line. Yeah. And I don't think every company is meant for that. And I think a lot of people, because of the show Shark Tank, which I love, and I think it's a great show, and there is a real need for private equity folks, I think everyone has gotten caught up in the fun and sexiness of private equity. But the reality is a lot of the typical business owners in the country can grow their business through financing and not have to give up equity, and maybe retain that for some sort of an end game. When you're ready for retirement, at that point, maybe sell your whole business and you move on. Yeah,
like what you were saying. I mean, you get business, restaurant owners, or a fitness center. Private equity doesn't want to touch those at all. And you were saying even some lenders, and so that's the kind of gap you're filling too.
That's exactly right. And it's amazing. Like less than 1% of small businesses, less than 1% of businesses in the U.S. do over $10 million a year in sales. So you've got, everyone, a lot of people doing 100,000, $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, $5 million a year in sales. And those businesses really aren't usually meant for private equity. Use like an example of a restaurant or a fitness center. If you're looking to become this giant franchise of a restaurant or a fitness center, and you want to have 100 locations across the U.S., of private equity and probably utilizing debt and private equity are going to make sense.
Right.
But if you have 1 or 2 locations and you're not trying to scale the hell out of the thing and take on the world, then private equity might not make might make the most sense. And there's a lot of other ways that you can there's a lot of ways that you can finance your business today, and especially on the lending side, it's just about getting connected with that right one, and that's where the challenge is. Because everyone does different stuff and focuses on different businesses.
Okay, so what are 1 or 2 of the biggest misconceptions out there when it comes to business performance and trying to grow your company?
Yeah, misconception. I mean, I don't think people realize the time that it takes. We've spent so much time on process, structure, and people. If you watch my videos on YouTube at Grow by Joe, I talk about a lot of that stuff. And it's just so true. And people really overestimate what they can accomplish in a year or 2 years. underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reality is, and if you probably told me this in the beginning, I've been at this for 12 years now, and it hasn't been easy, and it's never ended. And you got to keep up with the changes and technology and everything else and competition. But I think if you told me in the beginning, hey, it's probably going to take you 10 years to get to a really good place in your business, I thought you'd crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But now looking back, that 7 and 10 year mark is really where it all came together. So I think a lot of people initially like, oh, I want to be my own boss and own my own business. That's great. There is a means to an end, but you got to get through those first 5 years of building it out, structure, people, management, knowing what works, what doesn't work. And you're only going to be able to do so much of that, in the first few years,
Yeah. So what was the biggest challenge you faced as over the past 10 years in terms of performance and growing the business?
One of the is really understanding how to hire and manage people. And you speak to business owners, and I think everyone that resonates with a lot of business owners out there. And then structure and process. We started this company from nothing, so we literally had to build out every piece of process and structure, from when someone applies to what happens to who handles it, who is responsible for it, and then I wish I would have realized a lot early on how important structure and process is, and then culture. Like, creating a culture is not an easy thing to do, and it's an ongoing commitment. But we've put such a big focus on culture here. We were doing it before it was this buzzword. Now we've created an amazing culture, and that's been a game changer for us. But those things in the beginning are a real struggle, and especially if you've never done it before, building that from scratch, it takes this relentless commitment to get to a good place.
Okay, so how did you get over it, those challenges? Because you're taking commitment, but you can't. A lot of times, you can try working harder, but that doesn't really work. So how did you get over that?
Mindset and focusing on the right people and not giving up, and being like 199% dedicated, and not giving up, and fighting through those challenging times. There's times where you do need to work harder, and that's just the reality. But you got to execute. You got to make it happen. And things are going to come up that are completely unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the getting over it and being able to grow and to do more and take on more. The best thing that we've done is the infrastructure here, but then focusing on the right people in the right seats.
Okay, yeah, that's always important. You got to connecting the dots and make certain you got the right people in there. So, what other obstacles do you have that might be perceived barriers for you to grow national business capital even further?
Well, technology is just changing at such a rapid pace. It's just, and then as soon as you get good with one piece of technology, there's another, so the way people do business today are different, and constantly delivering the value to the customers. That you really just have to keep changing and adapting with the times. So that can almost come, either you embrace that, and also too, I think a lot of people today think they're just going to bring technology into their business, and then they just never have to talk to anybody again. And it just that's not a reality. We're absolutely not there yet. I think we're some time from that. So I think today you see a lot of these companies, especially in the fintech world that I am, where it's like all this technology and let's try and do it with no human interaction. But I think the reality is, in business and not in business, I think people want this human interaction.
Oh, yeah.
They want to ask questions. But so I think, to answer your question, is like a big challenge is merging technology, with good people and delivering a really great experience to the customers. That's that's a never ending, challenge. And we'll always
you got this triangle, the vertices, you got people, process, and technology. In the middle is quality. And you got to balance that, because technology can overwhelm it, and basically if you got a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So,
Yep, exactly right. And so many people get wrapped up in just trying to keep replacing technology to fix the problem and just adding new technologies. And it's a lot of times you got to have everything running all together. So that, like you mentioned, people, process, technology, all that's got to be really in sync. I think a lot of people today are just trying to throw technologies at their issues in their business, and that's not really where the real issue is.
yeah, it's great for the technology providers because they're making a ton of money. But you buy what we call shelfware.
yeah, exactly right. It's another thing on the shelf that looks, shiny that we spent a lot of money on.
So can you share a story of recently maybe working with a client that's helped them overcome their obstacles and succeed and grow?
Yeah, we had, there's a ton of stories, but just one sticks out recently where, Amazon delivery and Amazon has just gotten so popular, where someone had an opportunity. You can actually buy and own like an Amazon route today, and also FedEx routes as well too. And this actually person owned a few FedEx routes because of Amazon and online ordering. There's a ton of business happening there. Had an opportunity to buy, I think it was like 10 or 12 additional routes. And kind of was tapped out in his bank financing, needed like another $350,000. We were able to make that happen. He was able to purchase and acquire all the routes and trucks. And, by doing that I think each route, there's like 2 or 3 people that rotate through it. So he was able to hire about 24 to 36 new employees in his local, area and community, and provide jobs. So not only to solve, an opportunity for, make an opportunity happen for his business. It's cool that you hear stories like that and you're like, wow, this funding helped this person grow his business, but also, provide a few dozen jobs, in a local community somewhere, in the US, which is really great.
So if you think about it, what would you say the moral of that story is?
Keep doing what we're doing, I think the moral of the story is I think a lot of people get caught up in the cost of financing, but not focus on the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a business owner, I think as people, right, we always focus on all the bad things and not the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have this conversation a lot with business owners, and I think it's really important to focus on the opportunity and how to utilize financing as a tool, to grow your business.
Okay. So let's talk about your podcast for a few moments. When did you first launch that?
So I launched the podcast. We just got launched, but what I launched is my YouTube channel.
Okay.
That was probably around December, this past December.
Okay.
I have over 100 and something videos on there now. And I just switched up the style of that. And there's going to be some really cool new videos that'll be released shortly where I'm getting out with business owners and, whether business owners that we've worked with or business owners that I have relationships with, mm-hmm. And just talking about their business, their challenges, things that they've done that have made them successful, getting a sneak peek inside their business.
Mm.
I have a great local business owner and friend. We literally has built an awesome insurance business, which has dealt with so many changes in technology and process and keeping up with that as a small localized business. So we talked about what he's done to keep up with the marketing. And he's also a pilot, so we went up in his plane and continued the interview.
Ah, cool.
Which is really cool. And so those videos will be released soon on my YouTube channel, Grow by Joe. And really just looking to get people inside, sneak peeks of other people's businesses and hear, their challenges and things that they've done to make them successful. Very similar to your podcast, Henry.
Yeah, it sounds very similar. And the great thing here is that it's in a quote unquote safe space where you can just talk about it, feel free, and not really worry about the competition because we're not getting down into the details. We're just talking about.
Right. We're not sharing anyone's secrets. And I'm in this business group called YPO, Young Presidents Organization.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn from our shared experiences.
Mm-hmm.
We don't tell people, you need to do this and you need to do that. We talk about experiences or things that we've done. So I think by getting out with other business owners and sharing their experiences, I hope that other people, can learn from that. Yeah. And like you mentioned, they're generic things about. We all have these generic things about our business that doesn't, give away our secrets.
Right, and like what you've been sharing earlier too is that these issues are independent of the business itself. They're common across everybody, even though the individual owners don't recognize it. It's the same issues from company to company, from vertical to vertical, etc.
That's right. I've spoken to thousands of business owners for my company, helping them get financing for theirs. And the person in Arkansas who has a restaurant and the doctor in California, who's a surgeon, everyone, completely different businesses, completely different spaces, or places across the country, but same challenges.
Yeah. So you were telling me before we began about how things happened with you with your life. So tell us how you went from college to forming a business to growing it into National Business Capital.
Yeah, so it was a wild story, but to keep it short and to the point, I was, worked, helping people obtain in the mortgage space, helping people, get mortgages for their house, whether they're buying a home or refinancing, and just happened to build out a pretty decent referral network of accountants. And a lot of them would refer me over their small business clients that had challenges getting, a mortgage at their bank, whether they didn't show enough profit or whatever it might have been. And so that actually became a big focus of mine. And I built a really good network of accountants, got a ton of referral business from it, and really just got fascinated with everyone's business and hearing their story. And a lot of them started asking me, "Hey, Joe, can you get me a business loan or a business credit line? Or I'm looking, to buy the building that my business is in." And that was not a focus of mine. And 3 people asked me in like 1 month for a business loan. I'm like, well, why can't you just go to the bank and get a business loan for your business? Like, they had really good businesses, and I saw all their, tax returns and financial docs and working on their personal mortgages. And well, I don't have any like real estate collateral or assets, or I don't show enough profit, or, one guy was a restaurant and like a bank will never lend to me. So someone said, "Hey, can you just, maybe ask people, you're in this finance world, maybe you could point me in the right direction." So one of the banks had a commercial side, went to that bank. I said, "Hey, I have this client, restaurant, they need a credit line." They laughed at me, like, "We'll never finance a restaurant." And they said, "But why don't you speak to a buddy of mine at this private lender that focuses on restaurants?" Okay. So I reached out to this private lender and he said, "Hey, you know what? This type of, this isn't really for us, but speak to my buddy at this other private lender." Long story short, this private lender pointed me to this private lender, and I found that there was this whole world of business lenders, these non-bank business lenders, and everyone had a different appetite for different businesses, whether it was annual revenue amount or credit profile or industry types. And that there's not really a lot of information out there. They all have different guidelines. Their guidelines change constantly. And I saw that, as a business owner, you can even go to some of these places direct, but if you don't know where to, like, you can just get so fatigued from shopping around. I also saw that their processes were antiquated. A lot of them asked for all this unnecessary paperwork that they didn't really use to at least make an initial decision. So in the beginning, I literally, out of my bedroom from home, my spare bedroom was my office. And I literally took one deal at a time as like the business consultant, and shopped it around and found a home for it. So through that process, I compiled and built all these relationships. Me and my business partner came together. We formed National Business Capital. It was very, very small in the beginning. And we just started streamlining the process, making it easier, removing all the unnecessary paperwork, digitalizing the application process, and fast forward to where we are today, we just keep improving that process and make it simple and easy. But now we have over 75 lenders on the platform, and we match people, very quickly to the right financing for their business.
No, that's a wonderful story. Thank you so much for relating that. So but now it's kind of similar, but thinking about, over your entire backstory from a child to where you are, would you share an experience you had early on in your life that affects how you approach business today?
I was always, when I was younger, I used to round up, if I wanted to buy a video game, my mom would tell me, hey, you gotta, save up your save up your money, and you're gonna have to buy it on your own. If I wanted Nikes instead of Payless, I had to save my own money. So, from a very young age, probably like in third grade, I did my first tag sale. I collected all the toys in the house that I wasn't using and set up shop right in front of the house, and literally, wrote up, my mom helped me write up a sign, and I was selling my toys. And I did that a bunch of times. And then my first business was I was probably like 11, was buying beat up bikes in the neighborhood and taking them apart, stripping them down, repainting them, spray painting them, making them look nice, putting them back together and selling them for a profit.
Wow.
I went at I think 12 years old, I became a certified babysitter, because at that point you couldn't work, but I could babysit and make money. So I was always just I always wanted to make money. I always had this, hustle in me. And I guess I realized from an early age there's always opportunity. You just got to find it, and there's always something that you can do. And none of it's easy, and none of it happens overnight. And I think, realizing too, anytime I had a job, when I was my first job, I worked at an Italian bakery in Delhi, in Florida, and then service merchandise when they were around, and then PC Richards. And whatever job I had, I always took really serious, and I always knew that was a stepping stone to something, that I wasn't going to work at service merchandise for the rest of my life. I knew it was a stepping stone to something else. And while I was there, I soaked up everything, learned everything, appreciated the job. And I think I see a lot of people today that, you know what, you're 17 and you're working in a deli. That's okay. It's a stepping stone job. But appreciate what you're doing, soak in anything and everything that you can, and take that to the next one. And keep pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and keep progressing. And I think a lot of people today just don't appreciate any of that stuff. And, I had the privilege of being, born at a time where I still remember VCRs and beepers and, and big giant tube TVs, and there was no cell phones. And my grandmother, who was born in 1910, telling me stories about the Great Depression, and, her and her siblings, sharing bread and not knowing when they're going to get, their next meal. So, I think I have a big respect for a lot of the things and appreciation for just some of the simple things, the luxuries that we get to really experience here today. And I think a lot of people don't appreciate a lot of the little things. And, and a lot of people will complain or blame. I think the reality is, in the world that we live in today, there is opportunity everywhere. You just have to commit to it, work hard, and do it. But because of technology, you can work across the country today and never even show up at an office.
Yeah.
And or you can sit around and complain and say that you can complain about whatever it is that you want. But I think that we live in a really cool world today, and I think it's only going to get better. And and then just I started the company in 2007, right into the worst, one of the worst recessions in history besides the Great Depression. And talk about lessons. It was a scary time, but the reality of it is in a time of chaos and panic, there was opportunity. And there were some folks that made a lot of money from those times, because they were focusing and finding the gold, when other people were, just complaining, um, and uh, and focusing on all the bad stuff that was happening.
Sure.
And it's not easy to do that. And
Yeah.
looking back now, it's easy to say that because during that time, I'd be lying to you if I was scared shitless. And my house was on the line. My credit card debt was over $100,000 through the roof. And I mean, I put everything I had to keep the business going, and it was scary. So that taught me a lot of lessons, and I have a lot of respect for all the clients we help today because a lot of them go through that process, and it's not easy, and there's no manual out there. You got to really figure it out.
So with you looking at everything as an opportunity for growth, what does success look like for Joseph Camberato today?
Success looks like being able to continue to create an amazing place for other people to work, amazing place for our employees. And, hopefully one day my grandchildren will say, that's my grandfather and he's really cool and he did that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what success will look like. It's all about, I have a daughter now and another child on the way. It's really doing really good stuff for the folks that work here and continue to give them an amazing place that they can grow at, and to set my kids up, for the future. That's success to me.
Okay, wonderful. So let's talk about now you and your competition. So when you have people out there that are looking to get loans, what distinguishes you from the competition, and what questions should they be asking to evaluate you?
Mutual respect for their business and knowledge, and we're kicking our competition's butt because we're really understanding their business and their need, and we're providing good and helpful information. We're asking the right questions. We take the time. I'm a business owner. My business partner is a business owner. We built this from nothing. It's from the top down here, and everyone here has a true respect and appreciation for the business owner, what they built in their business, understanding that story, what they're looking to accomplish, and helping them get there through one of the financing products. And I think that a lot of the competition, it's just a number and another funding, and they're just focused on, how can we do more numbers and more volume, and not really delivering value back to the business owners. Our goal is to not only help them with financing, with services, but also other things, information, knowledge, education, and different things to help them, grow their business and be better.
Right. Well, okay, this is wonderful. So I want to be respectful of your time. We're rapidly running out. We could keep going on and on, but I want to be careful of that.
All night, Henry.
So how can somebody get in touch with you personally and National Business Capital if they want to avail themselves of your services?
Yeah, so you can go to visit National Business Capital and Services. You can go to national.biz, B-I-Z. That's it. National.biz, and you can check out more about me and my company there and our products and services. And if you want to follow me at Grow by Joe, so that's Grow by Joe on Instagram, LinkedIn, and then my YouTube channel has a ton of more videos about a number of different great business topics. So if you own a business, there's definitely a lot of resource and value there, and a lot more great stuff to come.
Okay, great. So I really enjoyed your stories, Joe. This is great. I like your advice about focusing on people and the personal touch and growing with your customers and your passion for helping companies grow. So I'm certain our viewers will find this just as fascinating. So thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, I hope so. And thank you thank you very much for having me today. It was great, and I appreciate our conversations.